What's up, guys? Tim from Olsen Motorsports. Keith's behind the camera. He's really shy, but he'll turn it around in a second. Karim is, that's the wrong way, buddy. Karim is here as well, and today we're going to show you how to replace a couple of things. We're going to show you how to replace the cam box seals. And this is a 993, right? This is 993C2.
993C2.
So we're going to, a lot of the dirty, heavy work is already done. So we're going to tear these boxes down and replace the seals on it and show you how to take the cams out and then how to reinstall the cams and set the timing. So Karim has told me that all the tools are laid out.
Correct.
Which
behind Keith.
Doesn't look that, actually, I don't think these are all the tools, bro.
What else do we need? We need the 10mm.
Well, you have Allen's here we have to take apart.
True. Oh, the whole 9 yards. All right.
I'm about to make a mess here.
So, just so you guys know, underneath here, this is a very elaborate catch tray system. We use the, this is for your dryer or your washing machine at home. You can get them at the hardware store, and they're disposable. They're like 15 bucks. And it's nice for to catch all the oil.
This one is being
fun.
No.
Do you require my assistance?
I do not require your assistance because you're busy doing something else.
So we're going to take all of these rockers off here. After he gets those, I'll get on the other side. You do realize I've got like 3 times the bolts that you have over here.
Keith, if you can notice, theoretically, the nut is supposed to come off from the assembly itself, but sometimes after age, everything stays stuck together, so it doesn't matter if you remove everything once altogether, so you have to make sure that it all works out at the end.
Karim over here is looking very fine in his British hat.
Do you know why, Tim? Because I am British.
You're a French Canadian.
From Britain, born in Britain. Just like you are a Viking.
I'm a Viking.
Manning.
I'm very manly
Chicagoan origins.
A very manly Viking. Sometimes they pop right out. I don't think these have ever been off of a car.
No, they feel actually very, very tight.
Oh my God, I have my hands dirty. This is a disaster.
This is not a princess job, ladies and gentlemen.
I think they're supposed to bring the engines in here clean already, right?
I believe so.
We're gonna have to have a discussion. Did I get all the bolts out?
I believe you did. I'm just trying to be careful moving the cover. Yeah, this has never been out.
No, this is original. Just my Viking presence makes it pop right off.
With a bit of artificial help.
Okay, so now we have our valve covers off, and we already know we are at top dead center cylinder 1.
Correct.
Because we are loose here. So we're basically going to take all of the rockers off. We're going to take the cams out, and then we're going to take all the chains off, slide everything back. So what I usually do at this point in time, the 993 is different than a regular car because the rockers are bolted.
Correct.
So I will take my Allen here and I'll pre-break all of these loose.
Interesting enough, while Tim is doing this, the importance of having a little visual inspection of something that hasn't been opened for 20 years or more is you can actually try to see if there's anything that's been floating in the bottom, something that's been hidden, something that's been loosened up and stuck at the bottom of the oil galleys. As you can see, everything looks clean, everything looks good. There's nothing that's loose in itself. Everything seems to be in good running condition. No deposits, no metal shavings.
So what I'm doing now is I'm just cracking all of the rockers loose. We don't like to use the machines for this because sometimes these bolts can become a little brittle. So I don't loosen them, I just crack them loose.
And then you
on
can
all
feel
of them.
if the torque is wrong on one of them.
Yeah. So just like a little quarter turn here, just to crack it loose, and then we can use the gun to take them out. So what we like to do is we take two trays. One is left bank and right bank. We usually put all of the camshafts in there. And then we have all of these trays here. This is left over from another engine. And we just mark them all for the rocker shafts. Karim is going to take out the rocker shafts.
Yep.
While I rotate the engine.
So make sure they are actually loose when you do this.
Yep.
So we are supposed to be on number 1.
Yep. Which we are.
Yeah, number 1 is fairly loose. I'm going to start to.
And forgive, Karim has broken English, so you have to be a little cognizant of that when you listen to this video.
Yes.
It is British, French, Canadian, American accent, right?
Kind
It's
of.
very different.
So this would be bank 1, cylinder 1, intake.
So that will go in 1E, 1I.
Number 6.
Okay, so now we have to go 120 degrees. So I'm not going to get super precise with this because we're just removing it. I'm just going to rotate it till he tells me the backside of the cam is there. Probably somewhere in this area.
Yeah, we're good to go.
Yep, and then he can rip those off. You don't have to be super precise.
As long as there's no tension on the rockers, you're good to go. Put them in the right box.
Put them in the right box. I'm going to go to 2.
If you do it by firing order, it makes it very easier.
2
Much
is ready
easier.
to go.
Pardon my Franglish. Take your bolts.
2 intake. So
Be extra careful not to drop anything.
4. So I'll show you kind of what I'm doing. See, we were on 2 before, and see that rocker shaft right there? I'm just basically going to here. So if you saw the way it came up, and now we're loose, and we can take those out. It's a good thing we got our manicures done last night, so it looks
Correct.
good on the video.
Correct. With a bit of oil, you know,
Yeah.
makes it even more sexy.
My favorite part was we should have done the wax. We should have done the hot wax. But I think we ran out of money when we got to that point.
No, actually, I draw the line at waxing. That's why we stopped.
Oh, okay. So that was 4. So now the next one will be 3. So Keith, you can get a good shot of this. You can see here that it's down. Right there, it's down. I'm just going to keep on rotating on just a little bit. And right there at that little low, now it's on the top dead center there.
And if you can note at the same time, Keith, if you look at the rockers, there's no adjustment on those because they are hydraulic.
Yep. And the hydraulic part is right here. This is where the oil comes in here and pumps it up. There's a little hydraulic.
For more sportive application.
Which one was that? That was 3?
This was number 3. Intake.
Intake?
And I have exhaust.
I can't get sidetracked. It happens very easily. So now we have, where are we at now?
We have
that
1,
was
2, 3, 4.
We have 5.
Correct. Which is the last one in the
Rotate
fire.
that around. All right, that's good enough. I could have done that by hand. So right now I'm going to break the cam loose. On that side, same on this side. Like a proper Viking, buddy. One hand. One thing to make sure of, you can pretty much use anything you want to use, but this cavity right here goes right into the engine. So what I like to do is I like to shove a rag in here just like this when I'm doing this job, if I'm not going into the engine block, as a safety or in case I drop something. Then if you drop one of these little washers, it will bounce off of the rag and onto the floor, not into the engine case.
These were all loosened?
Those are all loosened.
Excellent.
My brother's pretty good. Then we're gonna take the chain tensioner off. I bet I can do mine faster than he can do with the machine.
I'm actually trying to be conscientious of what I'm doing.
It's the perfect opportunity. Don't ever miss an opportunity to bust somebody else's balls.
Correct. Hence why I take notes.
So we're gonna take the chain tensioner out here and we're gonna put it in our left bank box. What I like to do here is I push the cam back so that my wheel will fall off. Slide that chain back down inside there. And then the keyway here, I always just rotate the cam back up to TD center so that the keyway sits on the top. And then I pull that out like that. Now we're going to remove the cam. So I'm going to put my trusty helper down here. So now I have to get the seal broken on the back side of this because it's got a little bit of RTV in it. So what I do is I take my piston tool and I stick it on the back side of the cam so it's rubber mounted and just give it a little, can you grab that, buddy? Just give it a little knock that way and then a little knock that way.
Remove the
and
cam.
then I hold the cam here on the inside.
Float it easily
all the way
towards the outside.
Because you don't want to bind up, those journals are not repairable, so you don't want to bind that up. Like that. This is another common cause of leaks, is this little gasket right here on the back side of the cam. That's another very prominent area of leaks. You are a very cute assistant.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
So these are through pins. Another kind of weak point on these motors is these guide rails get brittle over time. And inspect this, you can see right here, it's getting a little brittle and they're starting to be burrs on the outside of the guide rails. So those will be replaced. So on this one, I take the pin out, but I leave the guide rail in. Because on the back side of here, it's this little plastic thing is actually mated in there. If you try to pull it out here, sometimes that will break and explode, and you don't want the plastic debris to go down inside. And these 413s actually will come off. What I do, because I don't drop anything, I let it go to the last couple of threads, and then I do it by hand. So I do not drop anything. Same thing, last couple of threads, pull it off by hand. Then we got two more on the bottom side. You can see all the oil down here from where they are leaking. Always does the trick. Those things always get stuck in there. I hate that. Okay, and then one more on the top. This one sucks because you have to do it by hand.
One more reason to be attentive when you do work on an engine like this is sometimes you can find defect on the material. Sometimes if a part of the engine has been moving around in the oil system or floating around in the valve covers, sometimes it will affect the cam lobes, as you can see. We've had an impact of material inside the cam lobe which has damaged the cam lobe itself. We could judge it being a couple of years ago because obviously the material has oxidized a little bit. So this has to be inspected and looked at to see why on that specific rocker that might have happened. And obviously if the cam needs to be treated, reground or replaced for more reliability.
One more thing we have to take apart, we have to take off. This is the oil feed-over tube for pressure. These are always kind of a pain to get out. Usually these O-rings are stuck in here pretty good. Sometimes you can do it by hand. So it's not this part that you get stuck, it's this part. So you can just kind of force that guy out of there. And this may or may not break free, which it did, so we're good there. And what I do, you want to take a little screwdriver and you want to get it here. You don't want to pry on the face, you want to pry on the material. So I'm prying into the gasket, the original gasket, and I'm prying here on an area on the outside edge where it won't destroy it or mess it up. And then we have it loose. So I'm going to pry my guy out of here a little bit. I always have the hardest time pulling these rails off. I get bound up. Okay. Aha! Success!
Congratulations, I'm almost there.
So here's what was leaking on this motor here. Little pieces of rubber down here. That's where the leak was coming from. So in our next video, we'll go back together with assembly after we clean all of these parts. So we have to clean all of the mating surfaces, clean all of this, get all this stuff perfectly ready to go. And then in our next video, we will show you how to do cam timing as we go back together on the 993. Do you have any final words for closing, Karim?
Hold my beer and watch this.
Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Anything that you see we could do better, because we're not professionals, in taking it apart, or any tricks that you have, leave it in the comments section. And thanks for watching.
Mic check 1, 2.
Mic check 1, 2.
This is the main difference between blunt force
good, how are
trauma
you?
and slow and steady. We'll see at the end, it gets it done quickly. Thank you. Remember, don't be like Tim. Put your tools on the tool tray and your parts on the parts tray so stuff doesn't get mixed up when you've got an assistant trying to help you at the same time. Yes, Tim, we're talking about you. Yes.
What did I do?
You're putting your tools in the parts tray and your parts in the tool tray, like a je ne sais quoi. This is not acceptable.
Whatever. I can do this. Actually, the rules do not apply to me.
You are correct.
The rules do not apply to me.
You are correct.
Look at you. You left your tools on top of the engine.
This is the one you used last.
What happens if it falls inside?
Then you're in trouble.
But if you see over here, I have it's perfectly organized. All of my parts are perfectly organized. Maybe the tools are laying around, but all of my parts are perfectly organized. How do you say that in French?
Tous les outils sont parfaitement organisés. Je suis un mécanicien professionnel.
No idea. Jesus.
Where's the tool you used for the...
Where's the Allen?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Oh my God.
Where was the Allen?
Where was it? Here's the wrench. Where's the Allen?
I don't know. Where did you put the Allen?
It's so small of a shop. How do you not know where the Allen is?
Because you misplaced it.
No, I put it in the tray. Oh my God. Did I put it back? Surely to God, I did not put it back. Oh my God, I put it back.
Surely you didn't put it back.
I actually did put it back.
Amazing. Thank you, Tim.
Would you like me to do this for you?
No, I can do it. It's all right. Thank you very much. Next video, 2 sets of tools. Why? Because there's 2 tools working on the engine. So as I'm playing the role here of the weekend warrior, Tim, example, this Johnny popper right here.
Okay.
Can you tell us which is the best way to remove it without damaging the plastic?
Just pull it.
That's it? Please, can you show us?
So you need the Viking to step in?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so I just take it like this.
Thank you very
It
much.
pops right off.
It was the best explanation ever.
So to speed this process up, we're going to work really fast and take, you want to take those off and I'll take the valve covers off?
Just for the purists, this is a mock-up. This is not a finally assembled engine. It's just for this video.
Actually, this engine just came out of the car. Bro, you have to twist it with...
The assembly came out.
There you go. I remember my first time. So we're just going to take all the valve covers off here so we can have access to the rockers.
And I need to help.
Are you serious right now?
Yes.
Bro, let me show you how to use this. You turn the clutch up like this. Could you imagine doing all these bolts by hand? At least you have a good supervisor.
Yeah, I do actually.